Let's kind of get into this. Just a quick update. It's not going to be too long. We kind of talked about a lot of this stuff recently. I would still like to see this come down, then push up. We'll see if it's a repeat of August 2020 or not. So far, kind of what we're looking for, more or less. We can see some of this push up and kind of understand a little bit more about this. The same thing is like I don't like if we come back in here, or essentially if we fail to start above on this on the 12 hours. So this will be tonight at 12 UTC. Is we're still in this range and there's a lot of weakness all in this area down here. A lot of weakness. It's a little okay here when we go on like the shorter time frame. We have a little bit here, right? But most of it, there's like a big open hole here. So we really got to pass up. So that's one thing that we're looking for is to see. So like for a buy point here, I'm still not a big fan of this stuff, but mainly it's from the dollar. We'll see where the dollar ends and where the well, technically I guess we have one more day still. Okay, so today's not Friday, I forgot. We do still have one more day. So we'll just get to the dollar real quick. So but this is the first thing I'd like to see this start above. Essentially, we're not looking at what is it, 43,974. So we're looking at 880 to 974. So what's that, 76 or 96? My bad. So 96, let's say 100. So that's what we'll just say 44,100. So looking forward to start pretty much at 44,100 at 12 UTC. My big concern is still the same thing as always. I don't know why this is pointing to here. Must have been something. Anyway, but my concern here is the same thing. It's similar to this. This is to me, this is what we're fighting for, and then that brings us back into this range. And likewise, boom, this range is going to be bigger than what we had before if we just take it from here. We're looking at 1.27%. We're looking at 1.6%. So it's a little bit higher. We can just see in other times. Right? I mean, this is a little bit different. It's not the exact same, but just the same general concept, right? Boom, boom. I don't think this started above, to be honest. I don't know if yeah, so we did start above right there also. Just like concern and things like that, right? And then, right, come up here, push up, right, fall under, start back up, boom, boom, push up. So we're really just ranging, just treating it like that. So what I'm expecting or what I'm looking at isn't anything really new or anything that really hasn't like happened before. And I'm not saying it's going to, and I'm just saying there is past data that shows that it's reasonable that if we end, long story short, if we end the week, I think it has to be 102 point exactly where it is. I believe 102.4. Then we'll start this week here. So all we have to do is end here because the dollar always opens where it ends, unlike everything else. So if we end pretty much 102.4, we'll be fine. And then that possibly brings us into this range. So we'll see what the dollar does. I would be it's hard to it's really hard to say when a lot of this stuff is really weird. I do get like the week time frame here, and this is like the initial buy point, and a lot of big bulls probably don't necessarily care what happens here. And I still think it's going to go up at the end of the day. I just like personally, I just like to see it come back down. And a lot of this also does stem from Mara, in my opinion. That just gets constantly overbought. I mean, it's like I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. I do get this. We come down under 2150. I do understand picking it up here. But a lot of it seems premature. This used to be like Mara. I've traded Mara in the past, and I've traded Mara like perfect, like actually perfect. And the reason why I was able to trade it perfect was because it actually went off of Bitcoin. So like if Bitcoin looked bad, it would then turn around. If Bitcoin looked good, it would go up. It wasn't this kind of, does whatever it does half the time. And then if it comes back into the range, then it respects it. So, right. So there's a lot of overbought, oversold stuff that's just not respecting things, then finally gets respected. So like I said, I don't mess with stuff like this because just from an odds perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, so we'll be looking for this to start 44,100. I imagine we'll probably start under, but I don't want to make guesses. It doesn't really matter to me. This is just something I check in 6.5 hours. This is just something I would check. It doesn't really matter beyond that. We'll see for the weekend. The dollar is still fine, in my opinion. I don't see anything like too crazy. The 1 hour is kind of where we are, right? A lot of resistance, come above. I'm not a big fan of this. This is a little overbought, in my opinion. I would have liked to have seen more action here, right? But we do come under, and we do have a nice reversal here. So I do like this for its upwards momentum. Though I would say personally, I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't like to see the dollar necessarily just shoot up. I don't think it's horrible. But if for some reason the dollar on tomorrow shoots up to like 103.155, that would be somewhat concerning. Um, not for equities and things like that or Bitcoin, but for what am I trying to say? But for the dollar itself, right? Like when we want to see this stuff, we want to see it start here, especially here, because if we start here, I think there's a good chance we can push up past this level. But if we just push up here, I mean, we probably start. It's the same concern that I had with Bitcoin where it is with this 12 hours. Like that's fine if you want to buy it here and you want to push it up. I can see from some perspectives I could maybe see picking it up here, maybe here. This is super risky though. I think the 2 hour showed something. No, so we're overbought on the 2 hour also. Yeah, so no, I don't really see much of a reason to buy a lot of this. Where it is right now. But like I said, I don't think this is a reason to sell. If anyone's going to buy, you just leave a buy down here, right? Like that's just kind of the way you do it. There's a place you want to buy, and if it's overbought, you just wait for it to come back. Um, it's pretty much just as simple as that, right? I mean, we can clearly see it intersected right there with the 12-hour Hull 500 and also with just the trend line. It's fairly straightforward. Right. We don't want to come back into here. That's pretty much what that is. We could still come back down. I don't really see why we can't come back down. This is, I don't know what this is. It's not a bearish or bullish start. I don't want to say. I think it started slightly above, so I don't want to say it's bearish. But we have so much room that we could keep coming back down. Bounce point could be here. Could easily be down here, right, at the end of the day. We're looking at this, where this is like, to me, where it can come down and still be fine to push back up. So there's that kind of concern also. I'm not sure about the Dow. I haven't been looking at too much of it today. It looks a little bit sketchy. We started low. That's what it is. Now we're pushing up. Okay, so a lower high here. So still a little bit of concern with some of this stuff. I don't think it's anything too crazy. I'm not surprised I was getting bought up today. But it's not anything that I want to touch with a 10-foot pole. And it's the same. I don't necessarily trust Bitcoin where it is either. The buy point was down here where someone should have left it if they wanted to. They could even leave it a little bit lower if they want. Not really surprised about the bounce. I think I wouldn't have been surprised. I would have liked, I'll say this, I would have liked Bitcoin a lot more if we came down here. I still don't understand why we don't play this area down here. And I think it just opens Bitcoin up for a lot of weakness for what we had before. Right. And these same conditions where we're just overbought, we just come right back in and boom. So I'm a little worried about seeing something like that again. That's pretty much it. So pretty much the dollars, not much to see from the VIX. VIX is still holding up here. It's still doing its thing. Still looks pretty decent for what it is. I don't think it's going to be a main signal, though. Obviously it does show a little bit of concern from what it was building up last week. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's too much else I really want to talk about. That's pretty much all. So we have the dollar. We want to see this start the day above 44,100, slightly, not like crazy, right? Like for this, we should have just come down, or for this, we should have just sat here and then pushed up. That's just the better way to do it, because who's going to really be shorting here? But like when you switch over right up here, like right when you start the day up here, like even if just look at this at the end, like right, like why are we? When you start the day here, why not just come down and then push up? Like it's almost like a sure that you're going to push up if you come down from there, because who's going to short from here to here? A lot of people, but who's going to short from here? Like nobody. Like I don't know who's going to, like if we came down, I don't know who's going to short from here expecting it to go down past this point. At this point, I think it would be fine. But it's just ugly price action again and again and again and again and again and again and again, which makes this stuff a little bit more difficult to kind of just say ahead of time. But there are things; those are pretty much the things that I'm looking for, and we'll see how it pans out. So, long story short, a lot of weakness here. Hopefully, we can hold up here. We don't start the next 12-hour here and then head back down, which I don't think is horrible. But like I said, if we do break under this 42,600, could be pretty sketchy. Anyway, I got to go do some yard work, some other stuff. Take care. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.